The single most important factor, and this is one of our key findings, is that consumers view broadband increasingly as a necessity. And this comes through in three ways in our study. First is the most technical. For those who have enjoyed economics courses, you may remember the own price elasticity of demand, own price elasticity of broadband has fallen significantly over this period, from roughly 1.5 to 0.7. What's that mean? That means that consumers are less sensitive to price today. That they need it so much, they desire it so much, it's such a key part of their lives that they're less sensitive to price rises. The second one I already mentioned was the fact that even when people are losing their jobs, they're viewing internet as an important, and broadband as an important way to get back up on their feet. And lastly, Pew has a recent survey where they ask consumers to rate certain products, whether they're a necessity or a luxury. Roughly 31% of folks said that broadband was a necessity, which is a higher percentage than people rate dishwashers and cable and satellite TV as a necessity. So in this kind of survey data, consumers are stating that broadband is more important in their lives, more of a necessity, more of a utility than these other products. We also asked the question of, well, how does speed matter? And we asked the question of, how would you feel, what's your valuation for a broadband that's 100 times dial-up, 5 megs per second? And we asked about 50 megs per second. And we observed that consumers value the faster speed, 50 megs per second, at roughly $6 billion more than they would value 5 megs per second. So in sort of given the hypothetical between the two, there's additional value there for even higher speeds. And one important thing about this, if we can go to the next slide, is we also asked the question, we also then sorted the data by those who had broadband already and those who didn't. And you observe that the people who already had broadband value that even higher speed much more than those who don't. And that's consistent with other data that's out there and other evidence about the experience nature of broadband, that once you get hooked, you sort of can't get rid of it, that it's important. Once you've experienced the benefits, people just view it as more important, more valuable than they did previously. But there's still significant gaps, and we document those gaps, and these are in tables in the report in great detail. I won't go through all the different gaps. We can bring up whichever ones you want, but you observe them, say, for Asian households of an adoption rate of 82% versus 57% for African Americans. For young folks 18 to 24, an 84% adoption rate versus 43% for senior households, and 83% adoption for college grads versus 38% for those with less than a high school diploma. So there are still significant adoption gaps out there.